Hey, good day and good evening, everyone. It's so good to see you all here. I hope you have had a great week, and this one is also the best one so far. So I'd like to ask you if you hear me loud and clear, and if I will have your yes, then it will be just great sign for me to start. Yes, hi everybody. Yes, and thank you, huge thank you for your feedback. I'm Sophie and I'm your host today. Welcome to IVF Webinars by Egg Donation Friends. We are here every week and many of you join us on a regular basis, and we are so motivated by your trust. And if you are here with us for the first time, you may maybe not know that all our IVF webinars are recorded. We have over 70 IVF webinars by now, and this is just vast source of IVF knowledge. So it's also available for you for free on our website. Just click and enter eggdonationfriends.com/IVF-webinars. IVF webinars are brought to you with help of our partners, and our partners are National Fertility Society, Fertility Clinics Abroad, and Donor Conception Network. And today, this evening, we are here with Elena Gonzálvez, who is biologist and embryologist and head of the IVF laboratory at Phi Fertility. So our good evening goes tonight to Alicante. Good evening.
Good evening, Sophie.
Good evening, Elena. It's nice to have you here. And today, Elena will present the topic and she will speak about IVF lab procedures and techniques to boost the success rates. And moreover, she will tell us, do they really work or it's just a false hope? The presentation will take around 25 minutes, and after the presentation, we will follow with the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, don't wait. You can type those questions in the chat section, starting even from now. Okay, I think that this is it for me for now. If you are ready, Elena, we can start. So,
okay. I would like to thank to Egg Donation Friends for the invitation to this webinar. As Sophie said, I want to talk about the IVF techniques. Well, first, it's important to know some basic information about the embryos. Embryos are very sensitive to the lab conditions because they are in a good environment, and there are a lot of studies about these conditions and requirements. Many scientists have improved the IVF techniques in order to simulate the same conditions of the female's uterus in order to help the embryos implant after the transfer. So it's important to keep factors under control like temperature, humidity, oxygen, CO2, and luminosity. IVF new techniques can help to improve the implantation rates, and they can be different for each patient. So it's important the quality of the eggs and sperm cell of each patient. On the left photo, you can see two oocytes with grown cytoplasm and bad quality. And in this photo, you can see a mature and good egg. It's the same case with the sperm cell. In this section, we have a normal sperm cell, but we can have another abnormal sperm cell with head defect or tail defects. Also, some factors can affect to the quality of the eggs, sperm cells, and embryo. These factors are the age, the medical background, the diet, if we have overweight or malnutrition, also the family background, the stress, pollution, or bad habits, and the chronic diseases, and another factors more specifics. Next is the lab conditions and security. The IVF lab is one of the most important things in any IVF treatment. The incubators will be okay to provide all the things or the right conditions to the embryo. There are 37 degrees, 50% of CO2 and oxygen, 95% of humidity, and also good air and positive pressure. Positive pressure. Moreover, the embryologist could take care about another factors like the good lab clinic, and it's not allowed to wear makeup, perfume, and we recommend to wear sterile clothes and shoes. And it's very important too to identify the samples and make the double check by all the staff to these samples. Well, so I will explain some IVF techniques that can help to improve the embryo quality. The first one is the time-lapse. Time-lapse is an incubator with integrated continuous embryo monitoring capabilities. It's an individualized and undisturbed incubation environment because it's not necessary to remove the embryo from the incubator. The time-lapse takes photos and video of the embryo development, and then we can see them on a computer. So we have less fluctuations in the temperature, humidity, and the pH of the embryo culture. Then it can predict the quality of the embryo and suggest which is the best to transfer. For example, if a patient wants to transfer 2 embryos, time-lapse show the best embryos in green color, and the other good embryos show them in blue color. So the greens are ready to transfer, and the blues are ready to be froze. So it's a good aim for the embryologist to evaluate the embryos so that we like it. Another technique is the day of the transfer. Why? Because a few years ago, it was usual to transfer on the second, third, or fourth day of the development. It's allow less time to evaluate the embryo, and maybe some embryo transferred will be not able to the implantation. So maybe we will have more embryos, but with less implantation potential. It seems that with these techniques, we have more treatments, more cost, and more emotional stress. So the fact of having a lot of embryos doesn't mean that it's more probable to get pregnant. So we recommend it when we have only 2 or 3 embryos or bad prognostic, because sometimes it's better to incubate the embryos in the uterus than in the lab. Nowadays, it's more usual to make the transfer on the 5th or 6th day of develop. It's allowed to the embryologist more time to evaluate the embryo development, and it is important because at the 3rd day of the embryo develop, the embryo starts to develop itself. So it's important to see the days after that. This allows us to consider only the really good embryos for the embryo transfer or for freezing. And it's a good method to select 1 embryo instead of 2, and it will decrease the risk of multiple pregnancy. So it depends on the case, but in our experience, we recommend the transfer on the last stages of the embryo culture. Okay. The next factor or technique is the embryo culture medium. There are 2 different embryo culture medium the sequential and the global. This is an unknown factor by patients because it depends on the culture medium on the IVF lab. The sequential, it is necessary to use two different culture medium. There is a mistake. One medium from day 1 to day 3, and the other from day 3 to 5. So at the day 3, we will change the environment in which the embryo are living. So the embryos will be outside the incubator about 3 minutes, more or less. It is worse because we have more light exposition, more embryo manipulation, fluctuations in media conditions like temperature, humidity, CO2, oxygen, and maybe we have increased risk of generating stress and free radicals. The other type of culture medium is the global. The global provides all the nutrients for growth until day 5. We have less manipulation and light exposition, less fluctuation in media conditions, and the embryo can pick up all the nutrients according to their needs, because we have unstable conditions in the incubator from day 1 to day 5. So, in our opinion and with our results, we recommend global culture medium. Okay, the next is PGT-A. What is this? This is a genetic study of embryo produced during IVF treatment to identify numerical chromosome aneuploidies or imbalance. Sorry. On the 3rd day or in the blastocyst stage, in this moment, we can biopsy some cells from the embryo. These cells will be analyzed on the genetic lab to find any aneuploidies or imbalance. When we have the genetic report, we can transfer the healthy embryo or embryos. When we recommend or perform this technique, when we have an advanced maternal age, 38, 40 years old and above, repetitive miscarriages, IVF failures, or a male factor, considering a low quality or quantity of sperm. But this technique has advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are that we can discard an euploides embryo, we can transfer only the euploid embryos, and we have less rate of miscarriages. But the disadvantages are important too, because we need many embryos. We need a good quality of the embryos to can biopsy, and it's an invasive technique because we have to biopsy some cells. So we don't recommend it for everyone, only in personal cases. These techniques, MAX, SPERM slow, PICSI, IMSI, and fertile chip, there are a lot of techniques, but in conclusion, are different techniques to select the best sperm cells. It is recommended when there's low concentration or mobility, high level of fragmentation, or bad morphology in the sperm. There are a lot of techniques, so the embryologist should evaluate each case in order to recommend the best technique. Well, and the transfer medium. The transfer medium, it's known in the market with several names like embryo glue or UTM. the embryo transfer is one of the most sensitive and critical procedures in the IVF treatment. And the transfer medium is a medium with extra of hyaluronan. This chemical composition might help the embryo in its adherence to the uterus. So it's a medium, but it's not necessary to use in all the cases. In the best case to use it is when we have repetitive miscarriages or repetitive implantation failures. So it's okay. And the last, in conclusion, it's important to treat the treating patients as a single one. The most important thing is the quality of the eggs and the sperm cells at the beginning. And the embryo quality doesn't depend on applying all the available IVF techniques. We should evaluate the cost versus benefits. And IVF techniques have the same value as the staff and the quality of the clinic. So thanks for attention. And if you have any questions.
Yes, and thank you for the presentation. Of course, we have some questions already, so we will not waste time and jump to the questions right away. Okay, and the first one is this one. Hi, I had IVF and collected 7 mature eggs, but only 1 fertilized, and it was abnormal by day 2, so I did not get any embryos. Is there anything the lab can do to help fertilization and egg activation? I used donor sperm, so that was not the problem. I am 39 years old.
Well, if with donor of sperm, the situation changed because maybe the factor is the eggs. With 39 years old, it's not very old, but maybe the eggs are not good with the good quality. Maybe. Every month we have several different eggs, so maybe in the next treatment the situation will be different. I don't know, but maybe the age is a factor. It's a bad factor.
Yes, perfect, and thank you for the question and the answer, of course, as well. This was the second question. My husband has 100 abnormal morphology. Does this really mean all bad, or can you find some good?
Well, the morphology sometimes it's very it depends of the embryologist who watch the sample. But with 10% abnormal morphology, it's difficult to find one good sperm cell. So I recommend to do another test in other clinic, and if the situation is the same, start thinking in other method like donor of sperm, because maybe she will have better results with a donor or than the sample of his husband.
Perfect. Thank you for the question and again for your answer. We have the next on the list, which will be this one. I have 5 frozen embryos. I'm due for a transfer in January. Is there anything I can do to increase my chances for a successful implantation? This will be my first time.
Okay, from the IVF lab point of view, no. But maybe if you check or ask to your gynecologist, maybe with some vitamins, I don't know. For the IVF lab or quality of the embryos, no.
Okay, and thank you for your answer. The next question, which we have already asked, is this one. I am 39 and had failed IVF with own eggs. We did not tested embryos, and I wonder if you could tell by looking just at eggs if they are matured or the only way to know it is after testing.
Okay. The embryologist, we can see the mature or immature eggs and sometimes the quality of the eggs by the morphology. But it's very difficult to predict the quality of the embryos. By looking just after, yes.
Okay, so we can go to the next question then. Which is this one? I have also read about mosaic embryos. What is your opinion and practice at the clinic?
Yes, mosaic embryos, it's habitual in the IVF treatments. Making the PGTA, we can know that. And the mosaic embryos, it's difficult to explain because it's not an unhealthy embryos, but we don't have the certain that it is the healthy embryo. So it's a risk of this technique because it's an false answer to the analyze. I don't like the PGTA in all the case because maybe we have mosaic embryos and I can transfer these embryos. So it's a risk of the technique.
Thank you for your opinion and expertise. And speaking of which, we have quite related questions, so we will take this one. And it's about how PGS can improve success rates with chromosomally normal embryos. Is there any evidence? And if every couple should consider?
PGAs or PGTT don't improve the success rate, but if only have one embryo healthy to transfer, it will be maybe a good pregnancy. No sé si. Is there any evidence? No. With PGA is only transfer the good embryos, the good chromosomically embryos.
Okay. Okay, so I think that the evidence is like, about statistics or something, so there is no such studies.
No, because the techniques doesn't improve the success.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for explaining this to us as well. Okay, we can then take a look at the next question. After my failed IVF, I got to know that my eggs were dark. Could that be because of wrong medication or wrong culture media?
It's difficult because maybe we have a quality of the eggs before start any treatment and we don't know. So only after the pickup we can see them, and it's difficult to think what is the first, the quality or medication or culture media. If the oocyte was dark at the beginning, maybe it's the genetic information or the basic healthy of our cells.
And thank you for explaining this to us as well. We have the next question, and if anybody is still waiting with asking the question, don't be shy. Type your questions in the chat section. We have still a few to go, but anyway, yeah, if you have any more, please prepare yours as well. The next question is this one. I am yet to start the treatment. FSH is 7.1, LH4, AMH is 3, 0.42 nanograms per milliliter. I am nearly 44, AFC found 4 antral follicles in each ovary. Do you recommend IVF with own eggs or egg donation?
Well, this case should be studied with the gynecologist, and the patient should valorate if with 4 future eggs will have good cycle or not, because maybe when we have less oocyte, or the cycle will doesn't work. Will work good. So it's I don't know about if it's H and LH. So it's better to ask at the gynecologist.
Yes, and thank you for the answer and, of course, for the question. And now we will have the question which is quite often asked, and it's about what to do and what not to do before or after the embryo transfer. And, of course, can I have sex while on vaginal progesterone, and how long can I have sex after an embryo transfer?
While I don't know, but after the embryo transfer, we don't recommend it, because maybe the uterus can have contractions during the sex, and maybe it's bad for the embryo. While I don't know.
Yes, and thank you. Do you think that are there any straight recommendation what to do or what shouldn't be done just after the embryo transfer, or is also like
relative relax, don't thinking about it, and be relaxed during the 15 days before the test.
it sounds easy, but it's not
No.
so
Yeah.
yeah, okay, thank you for your answer to this question and for my additional one. We have the next question. Yes, we have. Is PCOS has influence on quality of eggs? Do you know any statistics or could tell something from your experience? Perhaps we should increase our chances and follow with great quality salmon from donor.
Okay, a lot of things has an influence of the quality of the eggs and sperm cells, but I don't read recently about it. Sorry. I don't know the statistics about this theme. Sorry.
Thank you. I will check if we have any more questions.
I want to say that its personal case is different, and it should be studied as a single one by our team or the team or the clinic, because it's different for each patient.
Yeah, this is like a miracle also of the medicine, right? That everybody is a different case and it's sometimes unpredictable. Yes, some question appears, so we will take the next one, okay?
Okay.
Hi, how can I get good IVF success with hypothyroidism? Okay, sorry, we have the follow-up comment as well to this one. So I think that we will take this one because my TSH is quite high, making FSH high as well.
Both questions are for the doctors because I don't know how to regulate these hormones and how it takes long for it.
Yes, perfect. And we will have the next one. What is your opinion on transferring 2 or 3 embryos to increase the chances of success?
Well, this is there are controversy with this theme because I don't recommend to transfer 3 because it will be high levels of risk of the multiple pregnancy, but 2 or 1 it's difficult because it depends of the couple, of the situation, social situation, background history. It's difficult. Transferring 2 embryos will increase a little bit the rate, but also increases the risk of multiple pregnancy. So if the embryo is good, I recommend to transfer 1. But if we have 2 embryos with quality B or C, maybe it's good option to transfer 2.
Yes, and thank you for your explanation to this one as well. The next one, which we will take a closer look, is this one. Do you recommend time-lapse systems?
Okay, I recommend to evaluate the best embryo to help the embryologist to transfer the best embryo at the first time. But the time lapse doesn't improve the embryo. Maybe a little bit because in the time lapse the embryo hasn't fluctuations of the conditions, but a little bit. It's a good aim to select the best. I recommend, yes. I like.
And thank you for your answer and for the question, of course, as well. The next one is this one. Is semen extracted after TESE better quality? We got to know that they are immobile. Would that mean they also are worst quality?
Well, the semen extracted after this, sometimes it's worse than a normal sample. It's normal to found immobile sperm cells, and it's normal to have worse results. But when we don't have any chance, we can have this technique.
Perfect. Thank you for your explanation. We have the next one. What are the percentage success rates of oocyte rejuvenation compared to egg donation?
I don't know because we don't have oocytes rejuvenation. I don't know how it's mean. What is I don't know.
It's a PRP technique, and it's not used by every clinic, which is with plasma, which is injected. Yeah, but
like
anyway,
maturation, I think, but I don't have the results or statistics about it.
Yeah, and we have the follow-up comment PRP rejuvenation, but it's not used by every clinic. So, okay, yes, we have still one which is not answered. Do you recommend physiological fertilization or ICSI?
Yes, it depends of the quality of the sperm sample, but I recommend ICSI because I'm sure that one of the sperm cells is inside of the ovocyte or of the eggs, of the egg. Sorry. So there are more probabilities to fertilize the egg. But doing one technique or the other, it depends on of the quality of sperm sample.
Yes, great. And thank you for the question and, of course, for your answer. The next question will be this one. What should I expect on the day of my transfer? Any specific questions I should ask the embryologist?
Well, the most important thing is the how many embryos do you have? What quality do you have these embryos? And for the future transfer, if you want to transfer 2 or 1, it's good to say to the embryologist because it will be frozen 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. But only how many, what is the quality, and it's all.
Okay, thank you. I believe that this was probably the last question which we have asked on the topic. So I think that this is it, and we are done with the questions. Yeah, somebody is typing, so we will just take 1 second and see if it's the question. If not, we will be slowly finishing this webinar. And of course, in the meantime, I would like to thank you for all your answers which you gave us so far. Yeah, okay, we have one more question which just appeared, so we can take it. And I will publish this in a second. Microfluid sperm sorting, does it improve chances?
No, because we are doing an IVF techniques, we separate the microfluid and the sperm cells, so it doesn't improve.
Yes, thank you for answering this question, and of course for the question as well. In the meantime, we have had the next one. What's the average success rate of frozen donor eggs?
Well, in our clinic, we have not differences about frozen or fresh donor eggs. It's the same. And with donor eggs versus own eggs, it depends of the case. But frozen versus fresh, we don't have differences. Are the same quality or potential?
Yes, and I believe this was the last question, even from those which appears after the final call, but doesn't matter. We answered all the questions which we have this evening, so we will be then finishing our today IVF webinars. And of course, thank you, Elena, for being with us. And of course, thank you for all the knowledge you shared with us and for your time. And thank you to everybody for being with us this evening. And of course, it was a huge pleasure that you joined us. The recording from today will be available on our website, tomorrow, and of course it will be on our YouTube. If you follow us on our social media, YouTube, Facebook or Instagram, you will be always up to date with all the information we share with you, so I can only encourage you to do that. Elena, if you want to, I don't know, summarize or make a final comment or add anything, you can do that.
No, thank you for your attention. It was a pleasure.
It was a huge pleasure to have you here, Elena, and Phi Fertility, and this will be the wrap. Bye.
Bye.